John here from Another Way Around. We're back with a new format and even brought along a new friend. Hey, Francois.
Hi.
This week, we're going to talk about social experimental sport, IDARB.
The resurrection of a survival horror classic, Resident Evil.
Is Nintendo shortening supply to increase demand? I'm Francois.
I'm Gregg.
I'm John. All that and a lot more on this episode of the AwayCast. Francois, where did you used to write about games?
I used to write about games. I started out with Dualshockers.com.
Everybody knows Dualshockers.
Dualshockers.com. And then I transitioned over to Buzzfocus.com.
And how'd that go?
It was awesome. Both places were awesome. I got to do what I love, play video games, write about them, and talk about them. So, yeah, no complaints here whatsoever.
Good. I was hoping you wouldn't come on our podcast and start complaining right away. So that's a good thing.
That's for another time.
So, Francois, before we get into our main topic for today, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to segment our podcast, right? To make it more, I don't know, for people to listen to better.
Yeah, I guess so. Make it flow better.
I guess so. So, you haven't played any video games lately for someone who claims to be a fucking video gamer.
Well, I've played video games, just not anything new, because a lot of it, to be honest, hasn't really been impressing me too much. But
God.
I'm a snob. But yesterday I had a friend over and we were just playing some of my old stuff. And we were playing Hogan's Alley.
Hogan's Alley? Real old.
NES.
You know what's funny? None of us mentioned IDARB, even though that's what we've been playing. All three of us have been playing IDARB.
Well, a little bit. When you say playing, I mean, we've played probably 10 matches between all three of us.
Well, I think you've been playing online a bit, Gregg.
I've played 2 or 3 times when I get bored, but it's fun, but it'd probably be more fun if you play with teams and
with
stuff.
people, yeah, because I think what highlights IDARB is the local experience, because it's made for local experience, right? Because if you go online, it's just one-on-one.
Yeah.
But you could have 3-on-3s, 2-on-2s, 4-on-4s, but it has to be in a way where it's 4 people on one Xbox and 4 people on another Xbox. So,
well, we did play against you and your buddy. Gregg was over after your birthday. We played us two, and that was a lot of
fun. That was the most fun I had.
That was the best the game's been so
far. I had a buddy over, you had Gregg over, so it worked out.
So IDARB is basically a sports type. What would you even call it? It's like a sports game, kind of, right?
Yeah, they made up their own rules for sport.
It's look, think of soccer rules. You got a ball, you got to get it into a net, kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
And it's just beyond that absolute mayhem.
Yeah.
There's character creation. There's you can create a team of guys with your own theme music. There's a music creation tool. There's a banner creation tool. It's completely customizable. The actual design of the game is just pure mayhem. It's just it's really kind of funny, and it's not too serious.
The idea was basically they started the game with a red box, and then they used a lot of community, and they used people on the dev team to kind of just generate their all ideas around this red box, and that's what they came up with eventually. Is this what I think is the funniest thing so far, which we haven't, Gregg, we really didn't get it to work very well, but people that are watching your game on Twitch, your match on Twitch, can interact through the Twitch channel or on Twitter using hashtags and rickroll you and old internet meme type stuff. I don't know if.
I think what highlights the game for me is how just perfect it is as far as how simple it is, right? It's easy to learn. It's easy to understand. It's there's no glitches, because it's so simple, but it gets competitive because it's so simple, right? Everyone understands it. If you're messing up, you're messing up. If you're doing good because you're doing well. So that's what I like. It's easy to learn, but difficult to master. And I love those kind of games.
Well, you come from a fighting game background, so that seems like that's.
Well, I like fighting games, yeah.
Yeah.
And I also just like the little things that don't matter at all. After a game, you could taunt by just jiggling the joystick and making your podium go higher, which has no gameplay value whatsoever, but it's just fun because you're just doing something outside of, just looking at a victory screen or whatever. You could cry too if you lost. You just cry more.
There's some small touches like that, where the developer actually took the time to say, it'd be cool right here, and then they just did it because they had free license to
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But it's free on Xbox right now. I don't think it's free on anything else. I think you have to.
Xbox One.
Is it on anything else? I don't even know.
I think it's Xbox exclusive. I'm not sure if it's Xbox One exclusive or it's on both 360 and One, but I know it's Xbox for sure.
Gregg, you played. Actually, I was watching you on Twitch. It was really funny. It actually spawned from basically Gregg and I and some of our Destiny friends. We went on Twitch and we were watching a guy play Resident Evil, the remake, and we were telling him. What did we tell him to do, Gregg?
We were just giving him really bad advice. I haven't.
It was really funny.
I haven't played that game since like 1996, but I still remember like everything about it. And there was a guy on Twitch playing the remake, and he had no idea what he was doing. So we were just giving him like the worst advice, telling him to like combine things that don't work, and I don't know. It was funny.
It was great in front of like a couple hundred people. He's trying to combine the
fertilizer with like
door
with like a key to open the door. I don't even know.
That sounds really mean and awful.
It was hilarious.
You guys are terrible.
That's why some people play, man. But then Gregg actually picked up the game, so he played on Twitch a bit.
Yeah,
got some people telling him to mix fertilizer with ink ribbons.
Yeah,
did it work?
Yes, it did for me. It worked for me.
It worked for you, yeah.
Yeah, because I know how to do it.
Well, Gregg's uncle works at Game Genie.
Yeah, so I get all the free codes.
Game Genie, wow.
Yeah.
You going back to those?
Well, we're old, Francois. I don't know if you know. Francois never played Resident Evil 1. There goes all your cred. Gone.
Well, I was living in a time where I was only allowed to have one system because, it's the system my parents would get me, right? So
right.
I was an N64 kid, and my friends didn't really have Resident Evil or anything like that. So I did play some classics there.
Right, on Nintendo 64. But your first Resident Evil game was Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
Just let that be known for all future podcasts that his opinion will be held to that.
That was my first one. What can I say? I was a Nintendo kid up until the original Xbox.
You stopped being a Nintendo kid?
I opened up my my system choices after a certain age when I was able to buy my own systems. But that's the thing. I never really got into the Resident Evils where it was helicopter tank controls, which is good because I try to play them now.
Oh, the controls are terrifying.
And
like rotating.
The camera angles, everything is like absolute train wreck.
Did you enjoy it though, Gregg?
Oh, I'm playing through Chris right now. So
well, for someone who didn't play the GameCube remake, you didn't either, right, Gregg? You didn't play the GameCube remake?
No, I did not.
It was weird to watch because there's a lot of different things.
Yeah, some new stuff in there.
Yeah, like the defensive items and stuff like that. But it's still Resident Evil at its core. One thing you didn't like was they redubbed the voice acting. Yeah,
well, they changed a lot of the phrasings for the voice acting, and that stuff was like classic for me and my friends, like quoting that stuff because it was so terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I feel like that was a very like campy it
was the charming aspect of the game,
Yeah, but a lot of people knew that stuff, and I was really surprised that they changed it. I don't know. It's like it went from you were almost a Jill sandwich to you were almost a sliced meat sandwich or something like really like proper.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's some quotes that are really notoriously bad, but I guess they just wanted to make sure the new audience that's getting this game doesn't look at it and go, oh, what is this? Like, this game is totally cheesy. This is 2015.
Well, it's funny watching some of the kids on Twitch chat just saying like, they don't know what game this is. And someone, I think, did you make Gregg, you made a comment in all caps. You were like, Resident Evil 4 was the first Resident Evil.
Yeah, I was joking.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2 are by far more scary and more challenging than any of the Resident Evil remake, 4, 5, any of those. Way more difficult, I would say. At least, maybe that's just my opinion. But it's because of the puzzle aspect, and the new games kind of lose that, and they kind of pick up a more arcade aspect, which is a lot of fun. The arcade style and just unlocking new weapons and stuff like that. But for me, maybe because I was younger, being stuck in that mansion for months, not knowing what the hell to do, how old was I in 1996? That's almost 20 years ago, 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
Not knowing what to do made that game epically long and epically awesome for me.
I remember my dad used to work out here in Queens when I still lived on Long Island, and he used to come home from late shifts, and he would bring me a game once in a while, mostly Sega CD in the beginning.
Oh God!
And actually, one of those games, Francois, was what was it? It was some Rage in the Cage wrestling game, like Shawn Michaels, and Francois likes wrestling. Anyway, so one night he brought me Resident Evil, the old, the big case with Chris on the front with a rifle, and I Gregg and I were the same age, I guess, and I remember popping that thing in and getting up to the part with the dogs, and it was just all over. Like, I didn't pick it up again for a couple of months to build up the courage to do so.
Yeah, it was very scary.
I just had no idea what I was getting into. It's not like now where we research games. It was like they bring home a game. If I saw it in GamePro, that would be even a treat if I knew what it was. But I feel like then I was just...
I remember when my parents got me Mario Kart 64, and it was so scary. It was a nightmare. Oh,
Dude,
God.
oh my God, Rainbow Road.
Oh,
Oh my God,
nightmares.
it was so hard.
No, what was the Boo place? The haunted...
Yeah, Banshee Boardwalk. There you go.
Francois tells me about his nightmares in Mario 64 when you go on the carousel.
Mm,
That wasn't scary. I was scared.
I guess it was so scary I blocked it out.
Well, that's a song, right? I don't know. Whatever. Who cares?
Speaking of Resident Evil and stuff, I recently finally got to play the game The Evil Within, and I hated it so much I had to trade it in, and I got Resident Evil Revelations for 3DS.
It's really a big shame because I think I never did that write-up for my biggest disappointment, but that was my biggest disappointment last year, easily, above Watch Dogs, above anything. I was pretty pumped for that game.
Yeah, I mean, just like having Shinji on board with a game like that, you would think he would do wonders with it, another new IP, freedom to do whatever you want, a new horror game, like that's like a dream come true.
There's a really good aesthetic to that game, though, and not technically, but there was really crazy looking enemies and really crazy looking monsters, and the fiction was crazy. It was just nuts.
Right.
But
yeah, once you don't have a good foundation to build something like that upon, it's like everything else falls apart. Graphic,
yeah,
you have
technical.
The best story.
There was points that I explained to Francois the other day where he probably got up to it too, but where you would drop into a room filled with enemies, and the only way to, see your way around is like bring the camera in, and if you brought the camera in, it would like totally break, like lose whatever little bit of immersion that you had, and like you couldn't see the enemies around you. It was awful. Very disappointed in that game. I haven't finished it.
Yeah, I figured I didn't get too far into it, but I figured it's already so late. I really don't want to commit so much time into it now that the game is already 5 months old.
Yeah.
And yeah, traded it in and got Resident Evil Revelations, which is a even older game, but it's a game I hadn't tried. I trust the Resident Evil franchise, and I also want to play it on my new 3DS, which I get soon.
Show off.
I could use my Circle Pad Pro. So the little nub stick.
The nub? You pay another $200 for a nub?
Exactly. And shoulder buttons too.
I'm probably going to try to get one too. Eventually,
We're all sheep. We just want new gadgets.
The last zombie thing we'll talk about today is just one thing I want to get off my chest because I just beat it about an hour ago. Was Dying Light. I thought it was a really, really, really fantastic game. Yeah,
I didn't get a chance to try it yet, but you mean I see you on Xbox just playing that all week since
it was long, man. It was long. It was worth the money in terms of longevity, if that's how you weigh your games.
So what was so good about it? I know you told me that some of the story, was done well, even though they were, their typical story arcs for a zombie game. But
I really like the voice actor. I don't have his name on hand right now. He sounds like Troy Baker, obviously, but he, he's that typical gritty white dude. But there's moments where he says they wrote dialogue for him that fits perfectly, like you're scrambling to find a key card or something like that, and he's just like, fucking finally, and he finds it, and just they did some really cool little dialogue things. But the emotional tone of it was good. Something that I don't expect from Techland because I'm so used to like the whimsy of Dead Island and Riptide, like that attitude where it's kind of goofy.
Right.
But they really did something cool with. I'm assuming Dead Island 2 is going to bring back the goofiness for people that are fans of it. I mean, Gregg, when we played Dead Island, we had a really good time, and the mechanics were there, right? Like that was the most fun part, was playing, like making stupid weapons and breaking zombies' heads open.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like they're turning the page now when they took the combat, they made it really smooth. They added the same skill trees kind of that you have in Dead Island, and they just smoothed everything out. And there's a lot of side quests to do. There's co-op, which I haven't even tried yet. But and the story was fun. It was fun. It was serious. There was no jokey tones to it.
No, that's good. I mean, I feel like there's been a drought of horror games lately. So yeah, I mean,
I feel like
it is a good one.
The critics kind of it was an average score that they gave it in today's terms, at least anyway, where, an 80 is an average score, right? But, I think that they came a long way. So, whatever. It was good. I'm going to keep playing it.
Cool.
But, Francois, speaking of Nintendo, our main topic for today is Nintendo trying to sell us out,
I think they're just trying to build some interest again. I don't know, maybe because they had such dark times with the Wii U initially. But there's just been a lot of shortages lately, and I just want to obviously there's parts of it that seem like they're deliberate, right? Nintendo's been really dodgy about it, but yeah, there's been a shortage. I think it first started with the GameCube adapter for Smash Brothers when it released.
Yeah, I remember that.
I clearly remember it because the day the game launched, and I needed the adapters, and
Smash Brothers you're talking about?
For Smash Brothers, yes. And I wanted to pick up the adapter, and I noticed, Nintendo World, they sold out. Okay,
that's Nintendo World in New York City, folks. Right, Francois and Gregg are New York City businessmen.
We work in the city. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I noticed they weren't selling them loose, unless it was more readily available as a bundle, right? With Smash Brothers, the GameCube remote, and the adapter. But the adapter itself was nowhere to be seen, so I started getting a little worried. And
worried?
I got worried, man. I wanted to play Smash Brothers with GameCube remotes, even though actually I don't use the GameCube remote, but my friends do, and I like playing with them. So
the question here is basically, Nintendo was on its heels last year. Well, not last year, but in the year prior, even during launch year of the Wii U, right? They were kind of on their heels in terms of how they were selling, how well the console was doing. A lot of it was brought into question. So the question now is now they're back on their toes a little bit. Are they starting to withhold production or release of certain things in order to build hype, in order to eventually sell more? Do you think Nintendo's guilty of that?
Absolutely. Only because with the amiibos, right? The amiibos, there have been shortages.
Francois has every amiibo right now.
Every amiibo, some doubles.
He plays it off like he thinks it's funny, but
I am an amiibo master. But you can notice that there's shortages here in the States for certain characters, but nowhere else, right? They're readily available in parts of Europe. They're readily available in Japan, everywhere except here. And brings up the question, what's going on here? Why are we missing out on certain characters? And I think that, obviously if it was happening everywhere else, then okay, there's production issues, they're having problems with certain characters, but no, that's not the case. So,
well, there hasn't been any formal announcement that there's
right, but they haven't said anything about it, the other way too. They're not saying they're discontinued outright, but they're also not saying we're going to make more either. They're just kind of been dodgy about it. I mean, even when they first announced Marth wasn't coming out or Villager, there was one article that said that they've been discontinued, and another article where they quote a Nintendo rep saying they're gonna keep making every character. So they've been really confused even on their own end about what's happening with these. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like they're doing it on purpose only because it's driving interest, right? I'm interested now. I'm completely sold on getting every amiibo, and it's partly due to the fact that there's some shortages, and I like the hunt. I find it fun to find the rare ones. So.
Well, see, that's the thing is they know that people like the hunt.
Exactly.
They all played Pokemon. They know that people.
So the question is now, how long is this gonna last, right? Because so it happened back in November with the adapter. December where the amiibo started disappearing, and now the new 3DS XL is happening next week, and they are selling special editions and no one can find them, and again it's readily available everywhere else.
So Gregg, do you think Nintendo would be underhanded like this? Do you think that they're doing this as a sales move, just from a company's perspective? You think it's a smart idea to withhold supply to drive demand?
Maybe they're just not used to being so popular.
Yeah, maybe they don't know what to do because they're successful again.
Yeah,
and they're like,
what would it hurt to make you have people interested in your product now? Why not sell as many as you can? The only people winning here now are the scalpers, right? They're making money off of this. So my take is the only reasonable take would be that Nintendo's doing this on purpose now. That way, come later this year or maybe next year, whenever they decide to do it, finally meet that demand with their supply, because now because for me, when the next amiibo wave comes out, I'm gonna go scramble and get them. And they could, for that wave, for the first time, make it readily available for everyone, make so many of them, and everyone's just gonna run and buy them because they think, oh man, this might be rare again too. So
I'm trying to think of another instance of another product with another company that they've kind of apparently, openly withheld. I can't think of another product where it was obvious. Like, this is the only time that I feel like it's obvious. A major company like Nintendo that's not fulfilling demand for a product.
Well, you could just look at certain things like special edition, like the 20th anniversary PlayStation 4, right? Like, obviously that's deliberate. Like, they says limited edition.
Well, they're
special.
numbered,
Right, and that's, they do that on purpose, and people want it, right? It gets good PR, people talk about it. So if I were Nintendo, I would look at something like that and say, okay, we don't have to outright say it's limited edition, but as long as people are talking to each other about it being limited or being rare, or certain ones are being discontinued, that's good PR too, and that's a good way to drive interest in our product again. And it seems to be working.
I think in video games in general, that's the way it is with every major release now, or even lesser releases where they're offering deluxe, standard, deluxe, limited, all these hyperbolic ways to drive, an extra $20 to get you a whatever, right? It comes with a soundtrack or whatever, right?
Right.
I feel like, Gregg, we got Xbox One's day one, and you could still buy Xbox One's day one right now.
Well, I didn't get the actual day one edition. I just bought it on day one.
Oh, well, even so, the Xbox One's day ones are still available, and like, you go to buy a game now, and if I have a family member wants to buy me a gift or something, they think they're doing me one up by buying me the deluxe edition. Meanwhile, like, I can give a crap less about
I think a lot of gamers have smartened up to the limited editions or the collector's editions, because I mean, here's my example. Mortal Kombat, the 2011 game, they had an ultimate bundle where they came with the fight stick, and it came with some art pieces, whatever, and it was expensive, like over $100. And a few months later, it was really cheap. And I see that all the time with all these special editions. I see the South Park Stick of Truth. I see the Injustice. Injustice, the fight stick version was maybe $150, and I bought it from GameStop for $40 when they were trying to get rid of their stock. That's a big drop off.
What about the limited edition Handsome Collection?
Oh, the new Gearbox collection, Borderlands.
It's like $400.
Is it that much?
Something crazy like that, I think. Comes with the claptrap though. That's like remote control.
Oh yeah,
claptrap.
You're right. Yeah, that's what it is. It comes with the remote control claptrap. I guess if you're getting a physical object and it's limited, it's kind of like it's closely related to the PlayStation thing. But realistically, the question is, are they producing it in limited quantities? It's like you still see Halo Reach collector's editions out there.
I still see Titanfalls with the statues, It's like,
I have that. Don't hate. I have that.
It's so, I don't know. I feel like,
I'm just, not in terms of is the value there, but like, are they producing these things in limited quantities? It's a big question, like, why? You're 100% right. I mean, I agree with if we're being conspiracy theorists right now, where I think that, it's just a label on it to charge an extra couple of bucks.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the fact that Nintendo's been dodgy about it makes me think there's something up, because otherwise they would just say, hey, listen, we're having production values. I mean, because look at Toys R Us and Best Buy and Target. They used to have all the amiibos ready for pre-order. Now they're all pulled from the site. Like, obviously there's some relational issues happening here where Target's like, or Toys R Us is just saying to themselves, listen, we're not going to mess with this anymore. It's causing too much of a mess. I mean, even you pre-ordered some amiibos, and what happened?
Oh yeah, just get cancellation notice and stuff. I have a question. All right, so I found out, why would Nintendo intentionally put, I guess because people would return them, right? They intentionally put something underneath the sensor on the bottom of an amiibo so you can't use it through the box.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I guess people would return it, right?
Yeah, return it. you want to make people open the box just
Yeah.
so you can use them. But I can't hate them on that. Obviously that's.
But it's not just happening with amiibos. Like you said, the adapter, the controller adapter. Maybe this is just a strategy Nintendo found out worked and is employing.
They recognize our brand is popular and we could do this because people will go crazy for a Majora's Mask little statuette or
I also think that when talking, we don't have to get into it, but talking about their most recent YouTube policy changes and stuff like that, someone on Reddit had mentioned that even in the Western market, they're not quite sure how to what to play yet, like what hand to play. And it seems like they have a lot of issues adjusting to how we receive them. Because like you said, in Japan, like there's a superfluous amount of amiibos, right?
Yep. Yeah. I think Nintendo's just been really slow about stuff. I mean, that's their history, right? They've always been just a little step behind, but somehow they may get it to work, right? Let me just look at Game Boy and the Game Gear. Clearly, the Game Gear was light years ahead, but Nintendo somehow found a sweet spot with the Game Boy where people were just getting those instead of the color and backlit screen of Game Gear. 8
batteries that the Game Gear needed. It almost burnt my hands off. Battery acid falling out of that friggin' thing.
It was, they kept things simple so that way they could get it right. And I think they did that with the Wii. They obviously they didn't have the online infrastructure of the other systems, and
they're so late on that, man.
Graphically behind, but who's to argue because the Wii was such a success. But
yeah. Well, the question really is though, like, people have been rooting for Nintendo, except for maybe Gregg, if you've heard on podcasts prior, like months ago.
I don't dislike Nintendo. I just think that,
but there was a time where I agreed with you where they were just clueless. Like there was a point of frustration. It was before they had their big year last year, before Smash.
Yeah, I think just part of me always wished because I don't want to have to buy a Wii for the couple games that I actually would want to play on their consoles, that they would just stop making consoles and license out their brands to release on the consoles that everyone actually plays.
Well, they somehow managed to stay alive with it. I mean, aside from Bayonetta, though, other than exclusive IP, do you think, Francois, that maybe they kind of proverbially blew their loads last year? Like, did they spend all their resources? I mean, Zelda's coming up, obviously. That's big. But I mean, they hit Smash Brothers last year. They hit Donkey Kong last year. They hit what else?
They had Mario Kart. I think they have so much more going for them in the future. I mean, you still have Mario Maker. You still have Star Fox.
He's defending them. See?
No, I just going back on what Gregg was saying. I think, just my opinion, I think all games should be on one system already. Like games are so behind. There's still not one uniform format for games. But that's a whole nother thing.
I realized I play my Wii U and PlayStation less just because I can't switch them. Like today, I was talking to Gregg, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to put a new disc in the console. Let's see what's on my dashboard to play." And it's kind of the same thing where it's like, I have games. I want to play Apotheon right now. I started playing it, and I look at Kate watching TV, and we're watching TV, and all I want to do is hit a button. And I know that sounds really lazy, but it's not. It's just like a point of convenience, right? Or are we just lazy? Probably a little bit of both.
Lazy.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
But I find myself playing more Xbox games also because I get to talk to my friends while I'm doing it, switching between TV. I was watching the Ranger game and going back and forth between periods. Instead of I have to get up, or if you have the remote, I guess it's different, but change TV video over. I don't know. I guess a unified console would be amazing, but I mean, we know how that works. Obviously, it's never going to happen.
Right. But I mean, I like how Nintendo's so different because it's like, for me right now, I have Xbox One and Wii U, and it's like such a perfect 1-2 punch because like because I don't need a PlayStation 4 right now because a lot of the games I want to play on it are on my Xbox One already, but I can't get a lot of games on the Wii U. So I feel like if I had an Xbox One and PS4, it wouldn't be as big of a range as what I have now, which is Xbox One and Wii U. So, it's working for them, right? They have their own games. That's why people run out to buy their system alone. I knew someone who just bought a Wii U just for Smash, and that happens so much.
Like I said, like my whole opposition to it is kind of just a selfish one because I want to play those games without having to buy the system just for those couple games that I actually want to play. So
Yeah, because there's good games out there for Nintendo. I mean, Mario Kart is great. I wish still that they still had a better online though. I don't. I wish they could just incorporate some kind of matchmaking rather than like go and have fun all the time. Just go have fun. Like that's great, fine, but I'd rather have some competitive aspect to it, or even Smash rather than going like have a competitive leaderboard or something like that.
I mean, that's the frustration I think for years with Nintendo. Like the ideal thing for me ever would be a Pokemon MMO. Mm-hmm. That would be just like the whole story, the structure of it would just work perfectly. But that obviously never happened because Nintendo doesn't want to go into that world of just like people just interacting all the time, because they, which I see as a good thing too, because there's kids out there. Mm-hmm. My friends of mine, they're starting to have kids and they're starting to buy their kids. They bought one of my friends bought his son a Wii U for Christmas, and I thought that was great. It's a system that works for him, and there's no fears. There's no Grand Theft Auto 5 available for that system, and I think there's still a place for that safe haven for small children, because I'm gonna have children one day. You guys.
Well, that's why it'd be nice for Nintendo to license out their IPs for situations like that. Like maybe because that would make them a ton of money if they made a Pokemon MMO. And they can release it on PC or release it on, Xbox or something like that.
Yep.
So if they could license out their IPs, they can move it to where they don't have to censor online interactions, that kind of thing, and say, okay, we're going to let you guys develop this game because we don't want to have it on our console.
Right. So. But I just think Nintendo's super PR, conscious, right? Because let's say the next headline is, hey, kid gets kidnapped because of Pokemon MMO interaction or something, just something.
Yeah,
in the
I guess
headlines.
the negativity that comes along with MMO, they just really, even though it's in minority,
right? But I mean, parents don't know, right? Like they see, a kid just died playing World of Warcraft because he stayed up so long, 72 hours. That's an MMO. Oh, Pokemon's an MMO too.
Right.
I heard about MMOs, and then parents just, they don't know any better, so they're just like, oh no, I don't want my son to play MMO.
No
Someone died playing an MMO.
Right.
No.
Well, they could still make, an online version of Pokemon that maybe it's not an MMO, but maybe almost like a Destiny format where you have like different places you can explore with your friends and something like that.
Something to that capacity. I mean, I feel like we've been waiting for this since it came out.
Yeah,
since the original.
Yeah, but hey, the games keep selling. Kids keep buying them. Even they may not be us anymore, but if it works for them, you can't blame them.
So do they actually own? Because I remember we talked about this. Because the Pocket Monster company is different from Nintendo, right? Or does Nintendo own the domain over them?
Nintendo owns it.
Because I know the cards are owned by a different company.
Well, there's the Pokemon company, and I think they operate on their own, but I think they're still under like.
But weren't the games
Nintendo conglomerate
before the show though, right? I mean,
the games came out first, and then the anime was based on that. The confusion I think comes in when because the show came to America first,
right? Yeah.
I believe, and then the game happened.
Right.
I think that's why there's some confusion. But can you believe Pokemon's turning what?
20, I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me.
20.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
20 years.
I'm that old already. We're that old.
It's gonna be 20 years old, and we're old. So whatever. Things happen.
Well, let's hope Nintendo doesn't have any malcontent or malice where they're trying to just the old supply and demand trick, like company tactics. It's hard because hearts and minds for Nintendo. People stick by them and stuff, but you have to look at them as a business too. And I think that's really shitty. It could be also smart, but in terms of having an endearing household name, withholding product to snake more money out of you.
Well, I think it's funny because I think the only people who are being affected by this are the hardcore of hardcores. Because the little kids, they just want their Mario. They just want their Pikachu. And that's super readily available. So that's fine as long as they're doing that. And they're really just, if they're doing this, they're just targeting, us marks, right? Us Nintendo fanboys who want the collector's edition.
Just say me.
Just me out of you guys. You guys probably fanboy over. You guys will probably get the Borderlands $400 bundle.
Yep. Me and Greg are gonna have claptrap battles.
Just sheeps, man. But yeah, I really feel like they're just targeting us, and it's fine. We don't have to buy anything we don't want, right? But if we want them, we got, for now anyway.
Well, it becomes as a very checklist kind of person. Like when you get one, You're like, well,
Yeah, let's get all
you
of them.
see one, you're like, I have one. I might as well get another. See another one. Oh, get another. Next thing you know, we're hunting. Francois waking up at 6 a.m. to go to Best Buy. Where did you go?
I went to Target to pick up Rosalina and Luma, but the thing
On his
is,
birthday.
I was on my birthday. But the thing is, to be honest, the fun of collecting them right now is because they're rare, right? They don't feel as special. They don't feel as cool if they weren't so rare or so hard to find.
Totally. I think that's the
the
thing.
game. That's the.
But then that's the question. It's like, because they're rare, they're fun to get. Like, it's a meta game that Nintendo's making you play by buying things.
I used to collect Star Wars figures.
Me too.
If you go online now, all of the figures that were rare, you can buy any one of them you want now.
For how much?
$8.
Really? Like those renters?
At the time, they were rare. You can't find this one. Oh, I found him. I bought 2 of them. I found here. Now I have boxes of just wasted money in my basement.
Star Wars Beanie Babies?
No Beanie Babies, just figures in the boxes.
Well, there's still Beanie Babies that go for a lot, right? Isn't there one like an America one? Greg, weren't we doing this one day? We were getting miserable and we were like, how much does the most expensive Beanie Baby
I
cost?
think like the Princess Di bear.
That's what it is. It's the purple Princess Diana bear.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
like $8,000 or something like that. Or is it more?
People are so stupid. I don't know. It was a fucking stuffed animal.
I want to know now. Are you looking it up? Is that what you're doing?
I'll look it up.
Should we buy it?
Should we try pool our funds together?
We'll pull our funds together. We'll buy it, and then we'll set it on fire.
But like, my question is, who's going to buy that? Who you have to go? Do you go to a Beanie Baby bidding?
I want to kickstart buying that Beanie Baby. Everyone puts $1 in just so we can burn it. I want to kickstart buying every rare Beanie Baby.
But that just happened
so
with
we
the
can burn
PlayStation,
really
all
smart.
of them.
Someone just did that with the PlayStation, right? The 20th anniversary. They
Really?
kickstarted $20,000 to destroy one, and somehow it didn't happen, but it raised well
Greg,
over that.
Let's do it.
The Princess Di Beanie Baby is going on eBay for $16,000.
16 grand.
Oh, chump change.
Chump change.
I think we could do that.
Let's raise that just so we can just rip it to feed it to a dog.
Should we put it on the AwayCast card or?
Yeah.
On our business card. At the bottom, a little pull thing.
No, he's saying on our AwayCast Amex. You know,
on the card.
black
On the
card.
company card.
Yeah. Because we're so.
Yeah, that'll get us a couple of flights
Yeah.
back and forth to PAX.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just used that card today.
16,000 on what, Francois?
I charged the new curved TV I got off of that card.
Nice.
Okay, I'm looking at a curved TV. I want to get a curved TV. Am I wrong? Everyone
No.
write
No
in.
one's gonna answer back.
I'm waiting.
We're on radio. They can't
I'll
answer
answer
back.
for you. It's you are right. Get it.
Well, listen, I've read, not from just the salespeople, from some reviews that where I have my TV, it's like a couple, you know how it's a little higher on my mantle?
Sure.
They say if you have a curved TV and you sit lower than it, it actually makes it feel bigger.
Okay.
That's a good thing then,
Huh?
right?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like, is your TV right now 3D?
No.
Yeah.
My TV's kind of old, honnly.
Well, you dodged the 3D
It's got
train.
knobs on it, and you can put your remote in a slot. Like there's a little slot. There's a little slot for your remote.
Where does the DVDs go? In the front, the side?
No DVDs. You can put
The VHS tape on the top.
well, if you take the wood paneling off the side, you can get to a Laserdisc player.
Yeah,
Sweet.
good.
Cool.
So I think it's time for a new TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking at that Samsung,
Go for it,
55
man.
inches. I think what I have now is 47.
Well, hey, like I said, you dodged the 3D train, which I never saw that lifting off. At least not now with glasses and recharging those glasses. Ugh.
Because they don't have it right yet. Like
Yeah, exactly.
It was
but
like,
people bought into that. A lot of people bought that 3D, and they're buying 3D Blu-rays. It's just
well, it's because it's attached to that name, like 3D. Oh my God, like this must be the new thing. You know?
No, it kind of fell flat.
But that's what I'm worried about with curved.
But I feel like that's not going to happen with curve because
It's a perspective thing, right?
it's also just better in so many ways because you could see the TV better in different angles. You could like that guy said, it looks a little bigger when it's higher up. I don't think you can take that away from it, right? As for 3D, they don't tell you about the headaches. They don't tell you about the recharging of the glasses.
Shopping for a new television after not buying a television in a really long time, I feel like an old man trying to buy a computer. Like I was looking at refresh rates and I get that, and then they were talking about like, I don't know, I feel like so dumb. When was the last time, Greg, is this TV new?
No, it's a Sony Bravia from 2009.
Really?
Yeah.
It holds up well. It holds up better than mine. I think mine's
2010 maybe actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think you always the TVs just get outdated so fast. You just might as well just buy one every 5 or so years and just.
I mean, my TV. It's like full 1080p. It's.
You got what you need out of it for gaming.
You know what? All these new TVs have that weird like refresh rate where it looks like you're looking through. You look like you're looking through a window or something, or like.
See, I think they sell that as a feature. You know, like it's high def.
I hate that. Like movies look like movies on my TV, so I'm happy. Yeah. Like it looks like they're supposed to look.
It's the frame rate. It's but then they got into 4K. Like my dad is like, yo, it's a 4K TV. You gotta. I'm like, I don't even have any unless I hook my PC up. What am I gonna get in 4K? Yeah. I think there's some channels that are on DirecTV that do it, but if I have my Xbox on.
Yeah, it's just I think 4K is just another one of those buzzwords. Like, oh my god, LED to 120.
That's the thing.
Hertz.
That's the thing. And like, I don't know. It's like when should I click a pop up or should I not click a pop up? Should I click this? Like that's an old man's thinking. Like, no, never click the pop up. Never click it. But for me, it's just like I'm getting thrown TV words, and I'm not super keen on that stuff. So
yeah.
I'm just like, what should I ignore? What should I listen to? I know refresh rate for gaming is important, so look at that, and I guess
I think curve is a good move. For me, my next TV move, I just want a projector. I just want something big. It doesn't have to be the most crisp or anything, but if I could get a projector up somewhere, it would be nice.
It's all about that immersion, Think about it, man.
Immersion. Well, that just makes me think about Oculus now.
Greg, think about it, dude. Fallout 4.
Yeah.
72-inch, 120 hertz, refresh rate, 4K, 3D, hologram, HoloLens. What's another word, Francois?
I got nothing.
What are you even talking about?
I don't know. I'm trying to sell you a TV for Fallout 4, and I can't think of any more buzzwords. Will you take it?
Yeah. 7.1 surround.
7.1 Dolby surround sound. Magnavox. Good. You're sold?
Sold.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, so I guess we're wrapping up. So let's talk about our recommendations for this week. Francois thought long and hard about his recommendations for this week.
I was trying to think of something outside gaming, and I told John, hey, I just got nothing. My life revolves on games. I just don't do anything else.
So you sound so dedicated to your craft, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally. No, I'm probably just dumb, and I can't remember when I did.
So Francois' recommendations, it wasn't such a recommendation of a product, but he wanted to let everybody know.
Well, I'm sure a lot of you guys, all the dedicated AwayCast, podcast listeners know about this already. But just in case you don't, Club Nintendo is shutting down, and they have a huge library of digital games you could get right now with the rewards coins. Well, for me, I was some games that I really wanted to pick up was Wonderful 101. I never got to pick that up.
It was pretty good.
They're doing like full retail games, which is really surprising because before that, it was usually just Club Nintendo was offering, some of the virtual console games and some of the, the $15 downloads like NES Remix. But no, they have Wonderful 101. They have Kid Icarus Uprising for 3DS, which was another game I was looking at. And Mario.
You picked up Metroid, right?
I picked up the Metroid trilogy for Wii. Mm-hmm. Which is, it's like virtual console but for Wii games, so it's just last generation. But they're coming out now. They did Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Nintendo. How can Francois say he's not a Nintendo guy? His recommendation for this week is about Nintendo Club. Make sure you spend your coins.
Yeah, make sure you redeem all your 3DS and Wii U games because those points are going to disappear and, you're missing out on free games. But that's just me as a fanboy.
There is some good stuff up there. I did look. They do have Star Fox 64.
I'm gonna get my sister Super Mario 3D Land.
Oh, I want to get
3D Land.
Dude, 3D Land. Do you remember playing 3D Land, Greg, on your Game Boy? It was the Mario World Game Boy.
Is there like a pumpkin zone and like
no? There's what's the guy's called?
That's the Game Boy one. That's Super Mario Land. Which is. It was one of the most bizarre Mario games because when you stepped on the Koopas, they like blew up. They
exploded into bombs. Yeah.
And then there was a stage where there was Moa heads,
like the Easter Island head guys,
Moa statues. Yeah. And then there was one where I think you were in China and you were stepping on little girls.
No, that was a dream you had.
That's my like weird fantasy as an Asian man. But.
Like a typical Asian businessman, he's just like, that's my fantasy.
Stepping on little girls' heads.
That's terrible, guys.
Yeah,
so, Greg, what are your recommendations for this week?
I guess play Resident Evil remake if you like that.
So it's worth it?
Yeah, it's fun. If you haven't played it since it came out originally, it's really great to play through that again.
Well,
so.
Even if you're never played them, like definitely play them, right?
Yeah,
just
definitely.
to know where the shitty Resident Evil 6 came from.
Just don't have high expectations on the controls. I would say that it's still difficult. It always was. So there's that.
What's the price on that?
I think it's $20.
20?
Yeah,
that's really good. I think you're right. I got a PlayStation.
I think it was $19.99 or something like that.
Cool. Yeah. That's not bad. And you have another one here.
Oh, my second recommendation is liverwurst sandwiches.
Why?
Because I feel like people think liverwurst sounds gross, and no one really ever says I'm going to go get a liverwurst sandwich. But it's very good. It's delicious. So give it a chance.
So yeah. Greg's saying don't listen to what they're saying about liverwurst out there.
Yeah, all those haters talking about liverwurst. You got to make your own decision. So go out and get yourself a liverwurst sandwich.
We should do some PR for liverwurst.
Yeah,
you know, it's got a bad rap. You know, it has the word name. It
has a bad rap. Maybe we should make a rap that has liverwurst in it and make a good rap.
Like rap, WRAP?
Yeah, like a rap with like a nice.
So maybe we could do a rap and a rap.
Yeah,
and rebrand it.
Liver best. Liver best.
Liver best. I think that's a little obvious.
The new liver best. That's what I like about it, though.
Yeah.
People these days they just need it simple. Liver best.
Should we try to like only release a few liver best sandwiches?
Yeah, I mean like the cronut, make people line up for it.
Well, like limited edition, like 400 liver bests go out, and we won't make any more after that. Right?
Uh-huh.
And then we'll like send out a newsletter. We'll do a liver best direct and be like, listen, we're gonna have liver best sandwiches out next week.
Pre-order now.
Pre-order now because this is it. There's only gonna be 400 of them. And then what we'll do is after we sell those 400, we'll just flood the market with liver best sandwiches.
All liver best sandwiches, and then we have to come up with sub brands.
But we'll call it like liver better or
liver better,
liver great,
or worse.
Liver great's pretty good. I like liver great.
Liver great.
It's got a ring.
Yeah, it emphasizes the liver too much.
I think what we should do, I think what's the most important thing here that we're overlooking is that we spell liver L-I-V-R, no E. This way it has a social media presence. Hashtag L-I-V-R.
Hashtag liver.
Just make it hip like that.
Yeah, it'll trend like that.
Like Raptor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's no O or E.
Well, that's what all the kids do today, right?
All the kids, they just take letters out of the words.
Take away the vowels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Yep. So liver, hashtag liver, everybody.
Hashtag L-I-V-R.
Bring it back. Get it out there because it's delicious. It's very good. My recommendation is a nice Kaiser roll with a couple slices of liverwurst.
Liver best.
Or liver best. Some Swiss cheese and mustard. Little lettuce.
What do you wash that down with, Greg?
Apple juice.
Little apple.
Ocean spray.
What's your favorite brand?
Ocean Spray apple juice.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. My recommendation for this week. My recommendation for this week is video game wise, Grow Home. I don't know if you guys have had the chance to play Grow Home yet, but it is a fantastic, wonderful, relaxing game where you play as a robot, a little robot man with very, very vague guidelines where you're trying to, get crystals to grow plants and learn about this crazy plant world. But let me tell you, very, very relaxing game. Very fun. The aesthetic is there. Greg, I gifted it to you on Steam, so you don't have to listen right now because you already have the game.
I have to play it still.
You got to play it.
Maybe
it's good.
Tonight.
I totally recommend it. People say it's better with a controller. Even the game says it's better with a controller, but I tried it with the mouse. Just as fun. So very physics-based, very pretty. And that's it. We already talked about Queen's Comfort. That was my other recommendation, but none of you guys are going to go there.
Yeah, they're not going to go there.
Yeah, none of you guys are going to go.
All six of you. None of you will go there.
All six of you listening.
If you want to come to Queen's Comfort, just connect with me on Twitter. We'll go.
Yeah, just type hashtag liver.
L-I-V-R.
L-I-V-R. We'll find you through that.
We'll set a date. We'll go get some brunch.
Yeah.
Yep. And play IDARB afterwards.
All right, so those are our recommendations for this week. Francois, thanks so much for hanging out. First timer.
Thanks for having me.
I'm not a last timer.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Hope so. Greg, thanks as usual, friend.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yes, we're back to the old Greg. I can't wait. This is fun. I'm John Azalona. Thanks for hanging out on the new AwayCast.